Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to another episode of Galactic War. It's been an age since I've done one of these, but I'm sure you'll all forgive me because, as most of you are aware, the whole progress on the Galactic War project was halted some time back because Zep didn't have enough time to continue work on it. But he very kindly resumed work and reopened the beta over the Christmas period, and it came back very shiny and new and improved with many awesome features, none so more impressive than the brand new Galactic map. Take a look at that. Is that not a thing of beauty? So many planets to fight over and defend, and of course so many douches to kick out of UEF territory. Just a little decision helper there in case you haven't picked your race. Hey, we need all the help we can get. If memory serves, the last time this played out, albeit on a much smaller map, we got our butts kicked. We were the first race to be enslaved, I believe. So if I can't abuse my position as community caster to recruit, then what is the point? But anyway, that's one of the very cool features. One of the other very cool features is, of course, the introduction of team games. And to that end, I'm going to bring you a Seraphim v Aeon 3v3, and it's all going to take place on open waters. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So, we've got Seraphim on this side of the map, one down here at the Nook and two on the upper landmass, and Aeon on this side of the map, one here at the northwestern Nook and two on the southwestern landmass. Let's take a look at the players, and this is where I begin to lament my great big mouth at the pre-development stage of Galactic War when I said, let's have avatars with name generators. So it would be really cool, but yeah, that's great from a casting perspective. I now have to try and pronounce and remember all of these ridiculous names. But anyway, up here we have Soth Voslino, and I can't actually remember the rankings exactly, so if anyone wants to mention in the comment section below the rankings, who outranks who, we're just going to go with the surnames. So we have Voslino up here for Seraphim. He's gone first air. And to his southeast we have Usase, and he's gone first land, going second air. And then down here at the Nook, we have Huahush, or Huahosh, and he's gone first land. How am I going to get through this? I have no idea, but it doesn't mean I get to not cast Galactic War Games, so I've just got to power through. That's the way of things. Moving on to the Aeon side of things, down here we have Daphnewan. He's gone first land, and the teammate to his north up here we have Foclera, and he's gone first land, and last but not least we have Enfruin, and these guys are either all elves or they're all Welsh or some kind of bastard hybrid of the two, but Welsh elves is a thing of terrifying beauty. But he's gone first land as well. And look at the Christian names as well. Yes, we've got some action, but I just have to draw attention to this. We've got Siawonona, or Siawona. I won't be pronouncing the Christmas names throughout this. And then we have Elunalin. And then we have Trevor. It just doesn't quite gel for some reason. But we've got a Seraphim bomber out that's been harassing Enfruin up here. And it looks like it's probably come across from Voslino. He's been doing some decent work. He's only got one kill to his name so far. I'm not quite sure whether that was an engineer or not. I feel like we can bump this to +2 without the risk of missing anything important. We have also got an Aurora and a Spirit heading out from the southwest. That's probably going to come ashore either on the Nook or go straight across to his mirror up here and trying to harass Osuse. And an Aurora seems to bite the dust from that bomb and not getting anything serious done. He needs to start picking up engineers if he really wants to pay for himself. He's probably getting to that time where it's becoming a little bit dangerous to be a T1 bomber in the skies. But there he goes. He does manage to collect a T1 engineer on the edge of the Nook there. And we see Enfruin just throwing down or queuing up a naval factory, so he's getting involved. And we've got reinforcements coming in already. There's the gate beacon. I imagine most of them will have gone straight for that to get their reinforcements as quickly as possible. But if you're in any doubt as to the benefit of reinforcements in Galactic War, we've got a Blaze already on the field. He's been on the field for about 20 seconds now, and while it might not be quite so devastating on a 10k map like this, you can only imagine kind of damage it might do to someone on a 5k map. Blazes suddenly showing up in the first 5 minutes, or indeed any other type of T2 unit for the other races. So definitely highlighting the meta game and all of its cool aspects in Galactic War. Cheeky little reclaim there from the Seraphim comp, just grabbing that Aurora as it tries to make its way out. We see any wrecks around here. There's one or two little craters on the ground down here, so we could have potentially lost the odd engineer down there, but so far nothing that's going to break the bank from either team. We've got Voslino in the water with his comm. He's already built one naval factory, working on a second, but that Blaze turns up at the worst possible time. Let's hope that Elunin or Elunilin is paying attention. Yes, looks like he is. Voslino went for the reclaim there, but Blaze nicely microed out the way. And a few engineers at risk. Voslino forced to bring his ACU out of the water and prioritize the Blaze as it backs on up. Picks up one engineer and then another. Actually, that might have been a radar installation and then an engineer. I think that's probably more likely. You can see it being re-queued up over there. So intel denied, always a worthy option from an early harassing unit. And more Blazes on the field. So we've got quite a lot of reinforcements coming in from the Aeon side of things. Haven't seen any transports bringing in anything from the Seraphim yet. We've got more coming in up here, all looking like Auroras now, all T1. But that's quite a lot of extra reinforcements when you factor in everything else. That's a decent leg up on your opponent. Nice grab there on the frigate that was just hanging about outside of the main harbour area. A few Zuis brought out to defend, not faring too well against the direct fire units being microed. Of course, the Aurora's much more efficient and mobile these days on the field of battle. Another frigate about to succumb, but one of the Blazes is dealt with at the same time. Bombers coming out as well from the Seraphim. Yet another frigate down as well. There aren't enough reinforcements being brought in for this pressure to be sustained, I don't think. Seraphim should be able to deal with this little push. We have got a Sylph and a Beacon class frigate coming in as well. We've got any static D? No, just a sonar. Well, that might have been a torpedo launcher going up a little bit earlier. So it is all down to the units to deal with this. We've already got T2 Navy on the field down here at the bottom from Daft Newen. And a handful of bombers crossing the Solent, coming over to Fakhlira's territory, and there's a whole group of engineers that could be very vulnerable, but he's bypassed those. Looks like he's going for power grid instead. That's a nice pickup. 1, 2, 3, 6 power gens taken out all in one pass, and that has bottlenecked him slightly. It's not crippled his power completely. That hydro still providing most of the power he needs at present. That's a lot of build capacity that got away. You have got a second pass coming in now, and it looks like that might be the target, but good coverage from the interceptors there, blasting those bombers out of the sky before they managed to get a second round off. We've got a couple of land factories that are being thrown together on the middle island from both Aeon and Seraphim forces. Aeon looking a little bit more dangerous, and I like this quick lab builds. Get them on there and get in, circling the island, blasting any potential engineers out the way, and also taking down any of the mechs. Keep them mobile. That'll be so useful later on, which is why you can see he switched up to Auroras. But why not spit out 6 labs and then progress to harder drugs? You know what I mean. And we've got a Vesper on the field as well, so the first T2 naval units emerging from our Aeon competitors. Finds himself vastly outnumbered though, with a whole bunch of Suicals chasing him down. He's going to return to base and immediately get his build capacity around that naval factory to start throwing together some static torpedo launchers. Oslino still hanging about in his harbour area. He's managed to make the transition to T2 Navy as well. Hopefully he'll be able to repel this attack. Couple of frigates, couple of subs, and a whole bunch of Auroras probably still being airlifted in from reinforcements. So we've had some reinforcements come in down here and onto the Nook as well. I haven't seen anything so far come on the field for the Seraphim, so it seems very much obvious to me that they are fighting from a slight disadvantage. That is, of course, what Galactic War is all about. It is not about the even field of competition. If you want completely fair games of SOCOM, you need to stick to ladder. Zooey's coming in to harass that T2 naval factory down here of Daphnuans, but it looks like frigates and sylphs being sent in to alleviate the pressure, I think, from Foclear, but we can't be exactly sure because it doesn't tell me, unfortunately, hovering over these units, who they belong to. Actually, yeah, it does. Yeah, there we go, Foclear. It's actually a mix. That's Foclear there. Foclear, but this one here doesn't tell me who the name is, so something still to be worked on. Of course, you have to understand this is very much still a work in progress, so we're a long way away, I believe, from a finished mod. Seraphim forces working well with the Zooeys on the ridge, protected by relief of the land. That single solitary Aurora not gaining any traction against that artillery. It's going to be successful in eliminating that factory, and that's the only factory for Aeon forces on that central island. I think that will be a temporary win for the Seraphim, and I say temporary because it is nigh on impossible to hold on to this in just a regular game when you're facing off a 1v1, say in ladder, but with so many people on the field and such a strong focus on Navy on a map like this, an island in the center of this size and shape is unlikely to remain in anybody or any team's singular control for any significant period of time. Lots of build capacity. Could be vulnerable here. One frigate in the Bay Area, but that Exodus class destroyer prioritizes its fire away from the Seraphim destroyers and plucks it out of existence. Nice micro, of course. The Seraphim forces having a significant advantage in the sea. As long as units are microed, be able to nullify the impact that those Exodus class destroyers have on the game. One Vesper chasing out that Seraphim destroyer though. And we've got skimmers as well, Aeon torpedo bombers out, adding to the issues for the Seraphim, certainly on this part of the map, and there's not much they can do about it. Seraphim very light in the air. We've got a few interceptors down here and a couple over here, but that's a lot of interceptors on the field. And also we've got Swift Winds and now Spectres as well. So for Clearer making the transition to T2 air over at the western edge of the map. So both of these teams looking to play to their strengths, at least for the moment. Of course, the problem for the Seraphim for the moment is that their main strength, their sub-hunter, sits at T3. They're going to want to get some of their cruisers on the field though, and they are the best cruisers to go up against an Aeon Air Force, dealing the most anti-air damage of at least of the two missile-based cruisers, certainly more so than the UEF. I'm sure if that counts for Aeon and Cybrid. Generally, I consider the Seraphim cruiser to be the most deadly all-round cruisers on the map, and those Spectres dispatched immediately to the central island. A few interceptors trying to chase them down though from the south. Very nice work there, I think, from Wuhosh. couple of Spectres remaining. Swiftwinds, though, carving their way through those inties. And once again, it looks very much like Aeon are in command of the skies, but now we're starting to see some cruisers appear, so those Spectres have to be careful. Not going to be able to get any traction on that fleet now. As such, they back up all the way to base. One, or actually two Exodus class destroyers hanging out around here, and you get the feeling all you have to do is just move them in here and they could get some work done, especially with some accompanying blazes. They'd be able to chase down this destroyer. Looks like that's exactly what they're planning to do. Destroyers having none of it. Usase moving that away. Osuse, I should say. Another cruiser on the field, emerging from the northeast. Very much the idea that this is going to be the crucial battle, though, at least for the moment. And Spectre's trying to find a way past that cruiser, gets into the top of Voslino's base and destroys the gate beacon. I'm not sure it's going to have any impact on the game. There were no reinforcements incoming that I can see. Picks up a few engineers and gets away from the coastline and that anti-air, and now starts working on some of the T1 power. Got a wave of interceptors coming in to defend, but the Swiftwinds proving a little too powerful, and now it's T2 mexes under pressure. 2 down and 2 more left of those core mexes for Voslino. He's safely under the water at the moment. Voslino exclaiming his displeasure in team chat, and doesn't look like he's got much of a counter at the moment. He's brought his cruiser in right to the shoreline. That's going to force those Spectres off, but all 4 of those core mexes have been dispatched. And now yet more T2 mexes, this time further to the east and away from the coastline, are under pressure, and still not looking like there's anything Voslino can do about it. Another wave of interceptors coming in, probably from Owuhosh, but that's still not enough to contend with the Swiftwinds. And Voslino down to just 12 mass per tick, and losing T1 P-Gens as we speak as well. This has suddenly gone very, very badly for our Seraphim players. Blazes strolling back and forth across the map, discovering a small band of T1 on the central island. Going to be able to deal with most of those. We've lost a couple of mexes down here on Owuhosh's island as well. However, those Exodus class destroyers seem to have been destroyed. Can't locate them anywhere else, but look at this. Those Spectres still going. Great work from Clearer. Next down up here, and another one just about to go T3 as well at 93%, but I think he's going to be okay. He's managed to bring in enough Ioshivas to shoot away those gunships. Flak too heavy. Clearer wisely deciding to keep them alive to see if it can get any other work done. Gets about half the way through that T1 mex there, but has to bug out. Voslino slowly recovering his eco, up to 19 mass per tick now. But Osuse and Fakleera clear winners at the moment in the eco side of things. Osuse out in front, 82 mass per tick. That's pretty impressive. large T1 and T2 naval conflict brewing here. Clearer. Not present, sorry, Voslino wisely microing those destroyers around, keeping the Exoduses out of the picture. The minute you stop microing those boats, you have the disadvantage. Exodus, such huge alpha damage if it lands those shots, and also such a hefty amount of hit points as well. 6,900 on the Seraphim destroyers, 7,500 on the Exodus. Very, very tanky units. They've got good range as well, but the muzzle velocity is just so slow. You see that huge connection there. Drops that one down to around 4,300. It was partially damaged already, but still pretty significant, but it's not enough to keep it in play. I think Vespers need to be the order of the day for Enfruin. I should just call him Trevor, really, shouldn't I? Life's so much easier. Trevor. Can't get over it. No static D in the bay. No torpedo launchers to ward off all of these naval units that have breached in to Enfruin's base, and they were due to have more reinforcements as well, but the beacon has been destroyed. That's what that no beacon found for deployment means. So good target prioritization there, keeps reinforcements from emerging, and Enfruin on the move with his comm needs to be really quite careful here. There's a lot of units. He doesn't obviously hold out any hope that he's going to be able to hold on to his island. He wants to get across to friendlier territory, trying to screen with his subs as we go. And a shocker out up top as well. Strap bomber from Daphnewan. Whole wave of interceptors trying to chase it down. First bomb away. T2 mechs down for Voslino. See how efficient this bombing run is. You can see how well Voslino's navy is doing in Enfruin's base. And another bomb away. T2 mechs under pressure, down along with all of its associated mass. Down to around 1,300 hit points. Another bomb away on another T2 mechs. That gets taken out. What a wonderful, wonderful bombing run this is. That shocker too fast for those interceptors to stay in contact with. Another bomb off. This time it's just the T1 mechs. And I think that's all she wrote. And another bomb off as well. Takes out all of the T1 anti-air sitting in the bay there for Hawuhosh. But look at this, Enfruin on the move. Destroyers running him down. He's down to around 4,300 hit points. His head is just above water. This water not quite deep enough for these destroyers not to be able to get a solution on him. 3,700. And they're really homing in on him now, but a T2 transport has just been completed. He goes down into the red. 1,300 hit points, 1,000 hit points, under 1,000. It's going to be incredibly close. Are there any cruisers in the area? No, there aren't. I can't believe it. You lucky SOB. And Enfruin gets out of there onto the main landmass. Where's he going to place his comm? He surely should be safe, though. Aeon rule the skies. We've got ASFs out in decent numbers. He's heading down here for the shield down next to Daphnewan. Not a bad little idea. And even after the regen on board that journey, we're left with a commander with just 570 hit points. He must have been down to around 100 or something. That's incredibly close. Escaped by the skin of his teeth. His base has been badly, badly beaten up, though, in the process. Relief of the land playing havoc with these destroyers at the moment. Definitely do with some more cruisers. And this, of course, is going to be a slight problem for Seraphim forces. Yes, they've done very well at thinning out this base, but they are down and out of the air game, looking strong in Navy circles, but they could do with a lot more cruisers on the field. These Solaces kick out so much damage. 2,000 damage per fire cycle. You compare that to a skimmer, the T2 variant, that's just 750. That's a very significant differential, and it does look like Faclera is prioritizing their construction now. They're pretty comfortable in the air. If they can deal with these cruisers, then this fleet and all of the hard work that it's done will go to waste. Oslino not concerned about the consequences. He's going to continue to press, wants to deal as much damage as he can. Bunches of build capacity around these two northern naval factories. I think they were belonging to Faclera, but I can't be certain. And you've got a couple of mexes that have been capped by Voslino. Nice work, and a forward naval factory. Great work from this most northerly Seraphim player. But Enfruin, my goodness, you were lucky, sir. And he's on an upgrade. I wouldn't be surprised if that was tech or something, just to get some hit points back and quickly. Doesn't want to get sniped. Of course, it's so very much more important that you retain your comm in this than regular SOPCOM, because of course if that dies, if you don't get your commander out, you lose all of your rank and credits and everything that you've built up to date. Ewan starting a Colossus, and that's actually being built pretty damn quickly. Just started at the beginning of that last little paragraph of speech there, and already 20,000 hit points out of 100,000 complete. I wonder if he stockpiled mass for its construction. Indeed he will. So of course once that depletes, the construction will slow down. But I like what I see there. Already into the yellow. Target of choice will most definitely be Hawuhosh, and how well he's going to stand up to a GC, I do not know. Could of course come all the way across to his mirror, but that's unlikely. It's bound to be scouted. Water's not deep enough to submerge the commander for much of it, so a GC is going to poke its head out well above the waves. Still have Solaces tormenting this navy. Oslino trying to throw together as much T1 PD as he can. But now we have a counterattack from all of these Vespers. But we do have T1 land factories being thrown together on this island up here by Voslino. A handful of Thams and Zuis should be enough to evict Enfruin from this little area once and for all. He certainly doesn't look like he's making it any kind of major priority. He's building some TAC missile defense, but doesn't seem like a major amount of PD. We've got one Oblivion turret back here. It's not going to keep Voslino out on a dedicated push. Daphneuan now leading the mass race, but Osuse not far behind. It's been those two running away with the eco game throughout most of this. Voslino and Faclera bringing up third and fourth as you would expect, and of course our two island dwellers not doing quite so well. Hawuhosh on 45, but Trevor and Fruin down to below 10 still, and with no great prospects of things getting any better for him in the near future. But that Colossus already up or approaching 80,000 hit points of 100,000. That could spell real trouble for our Seraphim. Hawuhosh, a little bit of gamesmanship in local. Voslino still without that top mex. Kind of lapse in concentration there. Need to find a way to deal with these Vespers. And we do indeed have an upgrade coming from Asusai to T3, and that could be a nice way to deal with the Vespers. Mass Sub-Hunter. Whether or not we get to that stage now that this GC is all but complete, I do not know. 95,000 hit points and climbing. That is going to represent a major difficulty for the Seraphim. Destroyers lining up, picking off the build capacity around this HQ for Daphnewan. Vesper spat out as they're doing so, but GC online and making its way. Have we got a move command yet? It's virtually impossible to see it over the water. The move command is straight to the Bay Area, or it was straight to the Bay Area a minute ago for Huuhosh. Most probable target, and in come the Solaces as well from Clearer, causing no problems whatsoever. Lots of spam coming out from Voslino. And Wuhosh has noticed the GC with his interceptors. You can see how much, he gets up to his knees. It sticks out of the water there. Wuhosh says he's going to try and get a transport together. And he hasn't got T2 air, so he's having to upgrade to do that first. Should have time. He probably wants to get some build capacity down here to help the construction. You don't want to leave anything to chance on this one. It's a lot of Vespers accompanying it as well. I'd say this island well and truly lost, but if they can save the commander at least, they might have a shot at staying in this. Voslino has run over the rest of Trevor's forces up here at the northern island. 60% done on that transport. In comes the Colossus, of course. They have to be incredibly careful. There's a lot of ASFs in the sky. We do have some ASFs now out from Asusai, but certainly very many more on the field from the Aeon. Transport online. The rally point's not good at all. Colossus in the bay. Wuhosh moving towards it. See the transport command has been given. The load command. Ah, what are you doing? No! Wasting time. And a quick scout over the top reveals just how dangerous and precarious that position is. Wuhosh issuing too many commands, and it's slowing things up. If the GC could get a solution now, he could deny this, and he does. The transport is destroyed. Luckily, another one is on the way, 65%, but he targets the commander momentarily. Wuhosh having to get himself back inside the shield. He's going to want to get back here somewhere, and quickly, but the GC is gaining on him. All that GC has to do is deny the transport once again. Asusai brings in his ASFs to cover. This is going to be incredibly close. The transport is completed. The GC prioritizes the air factory. Oh my god, this is incredibly close. No, and he kills the second one as well. Wuhosh initiates gate out procedures, but surely the GC isn't going to allow that. It's not. It primaries him, chews through the shield, and Wuhosh doesn't even get close to gating out. And there dies a Seraphim comm. Very painful indeed. Nice work there from Daphnewan. Gets a comm kill. Of course, as we said before, incredibly important in Galactic War. And it really does damage the opposing team's metagame. All of those credits that he had stashed up, its rank and everything, gone. We'll have to start again with a new private or whatever the equivalent is in the Seraphim ranks. Osteno still making good ground though here at the top island. 4 land factories online, a 5th in production with 2 more queued up. Got a couple of frigates and a Sylph, Beacon class frigates and a Sylph wandering around there. I'm presuming that's from Faclera, but yes, it's kind of strange. Anything, any units from Enfruin or Daphneuin seem to show up, I think, with the names. I don't know, it seems to be hit and miss actually, to be honest. Definitely something that needs to be corrected. You can see that GC, no label on it, in that bottom left hand box. It's my life just that little bit tougher. We finally have sub-hunters on the field, but surely that's going to be too little too late. You'd love to be able to come and attack this with some gunships if you were the Seraphim, but they would just get slaughtered by all of these ASFs out from Faclera. Waves of Zuis coming in with the odd Ioshiva as well. Faclera countering with Spectres, not usually the best choice, but in the numbers he's got, doesn't matter, he can afford to lose a few gunships. Should be able to tidy up the rest of those Zuis. T1 bombers coming out as well to try and harass that GC. That is a sign of desperation. Where are we up to with this GC? 1 star on it so far for 102 kills and climbing. Plenty of veterancy still to be attained. Where is Susei's comm? Here it is, underneath this naval factory. He could be poking out there, needs to be careful. Already seen a number of cases, people getting caught out on this map, with it just not quite being deep enough for them to be submerged. GC making landfall. Osusei well above water at the moment. If the GC spies him, we could get another kill right here. But I don't think he's going to. He's too far away. And once again, major issues, I think, for Seraphim forces as that GC emerges from the ocean. Starts wreaking havoc amongst the base. There goes another rank of veterancy, taking it back up to around the 90,000 hit point mark. In come ASFs to escort it. Clara versus Osusei in the air. Clara with the clear numerical advantage. Gets a nice turn of micro as well. Add insult to injury. That's a lot of T3 power that's going up. And Osusei is going to be looking at a crippled economy. Looks like Voslano is doing some nice work up here at the top. But we've got another GC moving in as we speak. And a Tempest as well. Daphneuin spitting out experimentals in this one. Voslano is ahead of him in eco. Whether or not he can put that eco to any use in time. Voslano already calling GG. He's not gating out yet though. He still wants to make a play of it. He's telling Osusei to save himself. Voslano trying to build as much PD as possible to impede the progress of this Colossus. 72,000 hit points still left on him. Spectres inbound. There's a decent amount of flak in the area though, and the shield coverage will allow Voslano enough time to get back into the water, I think, just as that Colossus penetrates the outer defenses. And Osusei on an upgrade. Not on an upgrade, what I'm talking about, he's gating out, which is a wise move. However, he's not moving particularly quickly. And there's another GC bearing down on him. Voslano isn't going to hang about. He wants to get to safer territory. I do not blame him. Also going to use this chance to push out a little bit down here. I think this definitely represents the end of the Seraphim's campaign on this planet. Definitely going to be a win for the Aeon. It's going to be Daft Ewan again. See what he can see. So, one submerged unit under there, and it gets pinged. You've got to assume that that's a commander. Daft Ewan bringing in, and he's ground firing above it. Is that doing any damage? Yes, it is, and he's just about to jump out as he drops below 2,000 hit points. It's not enough. And another Seraphim con bites the dust. Osuse loses his life trying to uphold Seraphim ideals, whatever they might be. I don't know, their language is pretty complicated, it's hard to make out. And Voslino also trying to gate out above the water. The hat trick, all three Seraphim commanders killed. That is a massive, massive win for the Aeon. Very well played. Minor desync right at the end there, but we won't worry about that. Happened as the game concluded. What a game. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Definitely going to be looking at casting more Galactic War in the future. If any of them are anywhere near as exciting as that one. It's something, it definitely adds something to it when people can die and actually lose stuff that they've accrued or accumulated over a period of time. It makes it much more nerve-wracking than just losing your average game Sopcon. But anyway, as I say, I hope you enjoyed that. More to come from me, as always, in the future, guys. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.